Hello everyone and welcome to a new video and welcome to episode 14 of series I have finished, which feels like a lot. Like a lot. I do 15 series per episode. So when I finish 15 series, I film a new episode. Now I am a bit behind because I didn't get a chance to film sooner. But these are the series I finished from the 21st of April until the 15th of June. So it's not that long ago, but like I'm a bit behind because videos. And I finished quite a lot of series this year compared to other years because I've been doing a lot of like challenges where I read things on my backlist. There was a lot of books on my floor I wanted to get rid of, but I wanted to finish the series up first. So that has boosted my series finishing a lot this year, which is why you notice that I am going to get rid of a lot of these. But it's nice to film it before I get rid of them. Then I can display them one last time in here. Oh, not one last time because they were actually being an on-haul after that as well. Second to last time. But yeah, without further ado, let's go through the 15 series. And the first one I have is one I'm not getting rid of, which is Magnus Chase and the Gods of Asgard, which is obviously the trilogy by Rick Riordan, set in the not Camp Half-Blood world, but it is set in the same world because Magnus Chase is the cousin to Annabeth Chase from the Percy Jackson series, and this is obviously based on Northern mythology. So it consists of the trilogy. I don't know if we're going to go through every book, but yeah, it was very, very fun. Would definitely reread. It does follow Magnus, who kind of dies all the way in the beginning, and he goes sent to Valhalla, and then he's like a warrior for them, and then he has to obviously save the world, and he meets different gods and creatures from the northern mythologies. And then it also is two, like I was gonna say, side books, which is Hotel Valhalla Guide to the North Worlds and Nine from the Nine Worlds. This is more like a encyclopedia where you look up things, which is kind of silly to me to own it and read it. And this is more like a short story collection, which is more fun. Overall, obviously, I enjoy the series a lot. I enjoy Rick Riordan a lot in general. It does follow like the same, like I was gonna say, patterns of his other series, but overall, super enjoyable and fun. Would reread. Kind of want to reread all from the beginning, but I still haven't finished my Trials of Apollo yet, so maybe I'll try to get through that first, we shall see. But yay! Then we have one series that was in my piles and that I am getting rid of, which is The Unbecoming of Mara Dyer. Or the series itself is just called Mara Dyer, and it consists of 3 books. The middle one is a hardcover because I failed when I got them. Follows Mara Dyer, who wakes up in the hospital. Her boyfriend and best friend is dead, and then they move to this new city, and she kind of can start seeing people's deaths around her. And then she meets Noah Shaw, who is very hot and mysterious and has all the answers but doesn't give her any answers, which is very typical for YA. And it's very much the whole story goes into, is she crazy or is it something supernatural happening? And then it goes very much back and forth. I do think that parts of its appeal is very much that you don't get answers and you keep like guessing and guessing and guessing what is really going on. I enjoyed parts of it. Like I was intrigued. It was a fast read. You're reading it intensely because you want to obviously figure out what's going on. A lot of people obviously also fell for Noah Shaw, who is like the love interest, and he also has his own trilogy. The first 2 in that I have read to trying to complete this, but there was supposed to be a third that just never comes. So I don't know whenever that is coming, but obviously I can't complete something that is not released yet. Overall, it was entertaining, but like I don't think the story was like a high quality, which is not exactly what I expected either, but it's more like annoying because you don't get answers. And then I feel like, for example, in this one, there was like so many things trying to make it intriguing that I felt like was plot holes, and that bothers me. Like it was inconsistencies that didn't make sense to me. And it does unravel, and it was a fast and entertaining ride, but nothing that I'll remember forever. I maybe would have loved it more if I read it when I initially got them. Then we have Once Upon a Broken Heart, which is quite annoying because I got the arc of The Ballad of Never After. As you can see, this is the arc. This is the US arc. And then I hadn't read the first one, so I had to go and buy this. But the easiest way for me was to get the UK paperback. So I went out and got this, and then I obviously read this after. So they don't even match, and I don't even have the third one, but I did borrow that. And I didn't really love it. It does follow, what's her name again? Evangeline, who curses people, or she ends up this curse, and then she has to play with Prince of Hearts. It's like a game between them, etc. Parts of it was like intriguing and like It's very like romantic, and there's like dangerous, and it's a bit sexy, but not like actual sexy. I was into it at the time, but then when I read the third one, I just felt like, what can I say? It didn't give anything new to the story. It goes very much where you think it will go, bam, then it was over. I do think it had some moments that was intriguing, but overall it was not a series for me that I loved. I just don't think that Stephanie Garber is an author for me. However, I don't know what to do with this arc. I'm getting rid of this, but I don't know what to do with this, so I'm just gonna have this arc now, which is granted a nice cover, but like, I just have that rotting in my shelf. I feel like I talk about series a lot, and I feel like I didn't really give cohesive thoughts, but overall the vibes and how the story is built up, it's just not enough for me to truly enjoy it. Then we have another older YA series that was in my piles, which is Rebel of the Sands, which I obviously owed the whole thing off, because of course I did. And this is by Alvin Hamilton. This is more like a Middle Eastern inspired story from a white author, I believe. And we follow Amani, who basically joins the rebels. Isn't that what happens? And then we're trying to bring down the Sultan, and it's like a revolutionary thingy. And it goes very much where you think it go as a YA trilogy. I didn't really care for a single thing as I read through it. Like, I read this years ago and then these recent, and I was just like, it didn't give me anything, and I'm fine with getting rid of them. Then we have Carol again by Stephanie Garber. I again don't have the last one. I bought these before I even read them, and then I never got to buy the last one, which was fine. I did borrow that and the short story thingy to finish this trilogy. And this is also like this circus carnival thing that shows up. There's kind of a game in there, and then you need an invitation to show up, and it's very much like what is real and what is not real. So again, we have this game. We have two sisters. They're trying to save each other, or save their mother, or find their mother, something. And I can see the appeal for a lot of people, but again, I've just felt the same issues in this one as the other series. But I did enjoy Once Upon a Broken Heart more than this, much more. But in Carol especially, it's very much like what is real, what is not, what is part of the game. And I just found it super annoying, because like I felt like it was trying to be so clever, and it wasn't at all. I was waiting for like this, like, oh my god, this is how it really is, and be like in my brain, and it just never happened. So it just like didn't live up to its hype for me at all. And I'm sad to get rid of this because they were pretty, but it's not a series for me. Another YA trilogy, because I was on my shit apparently. We have Illuminae by J. Kristoff and Amy Kaufman. I read Illuminae a couple of years ago, and then I recently read Gemini on Obsidio to finish up the trilogy. I'm getting rid of this as well. Illuminae was very, very hyped when it was first released, along with the rest of the series. And it is like told in like reports and emails and all that. Like, it's not like a written up book. It has illustrations, etc. It's like more like communication and etc. And I do think that is cool. I heard great things about the audiobook, but it's very much about like them trying to stop the ship from crashing or like dying or something. In the second one, we follow different characters doing the exact same thing, because I do think that they're on the opposite ship of what happened. And then in Obsidio, it all comes together. But I really truly felt that when you read it once, you already read it. So like that fact that you have a whole trilogy doing the same thing over and over was extremely boring to me. And then I just like didn't like enjoy the format, etc. because I found it hard to read sometimes. I found it hard to really go into the mind space of the characters and like connect with them, because I'm just like reading an email they sent. And obviously it's different reports and like different like things from other people as well. But I'm just like, who are these people? I don't care about them. And I do know that like for others, that's like a great way to tell the story. And I'm really happy that they enjoyed it. But for me, it just didn't work out as like this like complex kind of sci-fi that I would like in my sci-fi. For me, it just fell flat and I didn't care, and I can get rid of them. I am sad though, because again, look at the super nice hardcovers, but I also want space, so there's that. Now we finally have something that I'm not gonna unhaul, which is kind of nice. So we have Part of Your World trilogy by Abby Jimenez. This one is just a romance trilogy. We follow a different couple in every book, but like it all belongs into the same world. Follow doctors and nurses. So in these we have doctors, and this one we have a nurse. I was going to say medical trilogy, but it's not. But like that is like what I also have in common. And I cried in every single one, and I loved every single one. I gave them all 5 stars, which doesn't, I feel like, happen to me that often in like not fantasy in general. But I completely just love Abby's writing and how she writes characters and how their problems are very like for me, maybe realistic is the wrong word, but it's just like they hit me and then they feel these things like whatever's wrong, whatever is the reason they can't be together. I feel them so deeply inside of me, and then I sob and then I just connect so much with the story. So I absolutely loved it. It's one of my favorite romance trilogies ever. So very much recommend if you like romance. Then I read My Life Next Door, which is a part of 2 series. It was a bit confusing because on Storygraph it said one thing, on Goodreads it said another thing. But on Storygraph it was part of the Garrett series, and then on Goodreads it was part of the Stony Bay series. Always the opposite, who knows. But Stony Bay was like 3 books. I read all 3 of them. I can't remember the titles. It's like, oh, it says What I Thought Was True and The Boy Most Likely To, and apparently The Boy Most Likely To is like the brother of one of the characters here and the sister of another character in this one. And then the Garrett is just this and The Boy Most Likely To, but What I Thought Was True is just about other people in the Stony Bay area, I think. And then I read this. It's her about falling for the boy next door, and then her mother doesn't want her to, and then drama happens. I think some of the drama that happened there was very serious, and the book didn't handle it as serious. It was very also like unsatisfying for some of the conflicts that we just never spoke about again in the book. And then the second book was also a lot about one of the characters thinking that he was suddenly a parent, and then the third book was absolutely nothing. So yeah, I bought this years ago thinking I would love myself a YA contemporary. Maybe I would have loved it more years ago, but now I'm fine with saying goodbye. But at least I finished the series. In this period, I was doing a challenge where I read a lot of books I already thought that I would get rid of. That's why it's so many in a row. But we have Circle of Shadows by Evelyn Skye. This one is the first one in this series, and I don't own the second. And it's about these 2 people that they went to like this Society of Assassins and Emperor of Magic, a world of secrets. Like they went to this school of assassination, they are connected, we are fighting in a war thing that is starting, and I didn't like it initially when I first read it because I felt like we were repeating the POV so much. Like we have 2 POVs, but I just kept repeating what had happened in the last one and it annoyed me. And then the story wasn't that good for me. I read the second one and didn't care for a single thing, but I finished the duology and I'm willing to let it go even though it is a pretty book. Then I wanted to just read through this author. So I also read Crown's Game I already started, and then I finished the series with Crown's Fate. This reminds a lot of people of Night Circus. There's like this magical competition and they can be like the magician to the Tsar, I think. And then they do that, and then in the second one is the aftermath of that. Look, I didn't hate it. I like this more than Circle of Shadows, for example, but I just feel that for me it doesn't stand out and it's a story that I need to keep necessarily. It was hyped back in its YA days and I read it, and it is again a pretty book, but I gave this a 3 and this a 2 and I don't need to keep it. But for me the story was just like totally okay. We have another YA trilogy, which is The Thousand Floor by Catherine McGee, which consists of The Thousand Floor and these 2 others here. This is pitched as Gossip Girl in space. So they have made New York into a skyscraper that goes upwards. And then we follow different people because how far you're up is how good you are in the society, like how rich you are. I mean, not how good. Not like, it's not your behavior, it's how rich you are. And then we follow like, I think it's like 6 POVs in every book, and in every book someone dies, and then like you're trying to figure out like how it came to be. It's lots of drama. We have step-siblings dating, we have people with secrets, we have hacking, we have lots of different things. It is a drama galore. I did find it very entertaining when I first read it. At least the first 2 I read kind of more close together, and then now I finally read the third one. When I read the third one now, I kind of remember things I didn't like about it because it's very much like over the top, not a lot of substance for me, but that is kind of the point of the series, and the series knows this, and there's nothing bad about it. It's just like, it's an entertaining thing I would read once and I don't need to keep them, even though again they're so pretty. I remember deciding if I should buy the hardcovers or the ugly UK paperbacks, and then I don't know, for these stunning hardcovers that obviously cost more, and here I am getting rid of them. But at least I finished the series and it was like fine and entertaining, but it's nothing for me that like I'll remember forever. Then I finished another duology, which was Silver Under Nightfall by Rincha Pecco. I do believe that is the name of the series, but I'm unsure right now. Rincha Pecco is one author that I actually very much enjoy. I enjoy like all of the author's books, but this one was just such a disappointment to me. It is like poly vampires. We have a dude that wants to hunt down vampires because they killed his mother, and then he falls for them instead. This poly relationship with him and then 2 vampires, and I was so hyped for it. But the way that it is written, it's just like, I kind of could describe it, but I couldn't get into it. I couldn't get into this world. I just felt like I was completely out of the whole story, which was super sad to me. And I ended up not enjoying it at all. I read the second book so that I could decide if I actually want to get rid of it. And I didn't enjoy that either. It was a lot of politics, a lot of going around. And I was just like, no, I don't care for it at all. I do believe it is done, because I do believe, as I saw, that there was a duology. I think that this is stunning. Again, I decided to go with the US hardcover because I had to decide between editions, and here I am getting rid of it, and it makes me actually very sad, but I just didn't enjoy it at all. Is this an unhaul, or is just me saying I'm gonna get rid of every book? We have another YA trilogy. We have Ever the Hunted and then the sequel Ever the Brave. I borrowed the last one. I don't remember what it's called, but I read that as well. This one follows a young hunter that needs to use her hunting skills to save her father, and then this is Aftermath, and the third one is more like a spin-off, even though it's the third one is series, but it follows different characters that are seen in these ones. It was fine. Like, it's a fine YA fantasy, very much falls into all like the tropes in a YA fantasy, so it didn't stand out to me much. Parts of it was okay, but it's nothing I will ever revisit. And again, super pretty hardcover that I decided to buy. At least I didn't buy the third one because I borrowed that. Yay. Now we have not a YA trilogy, but we have a 6-book series, which is Miss Peregrine's Peculiar Children. So we have the first 3, which starts with Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. We follow Jacob, who finds that he is peculiar, and then there's time travel, there's loops, there is lots of different peculiar abilities, and there is also pictures, which I think it's like, that is one of the new things about the series. I read the original trilogy a couple of years ago, and then we decided to read the series in my Patreon series Read Along, where we do like a series Read Along and then start a new one. So read this, and then those I read before and I did enjoy, but then some years later added to the series, which is these. Obviously it was hard to hold all of them, and then he also has like the short story collection, which we also read like as a palate cleanser between like the trilogies, and we read all of them together. So then I finished the whole thing, and it was the first part we all enjoyed a lot, and then the second one part wasn't as enjoyable. Like the actual final Desolation of Devil's Acre, it felt like the author has gotten into all his own books and his own rules, and that was very annoying. It felt very rushed, and it felt like someone didn't edit the book basically. So like the second trilogy was just like, for me, a waste. The first trilogy stands on its own as a good piece that is enjoyable and uniqueness to it, but the second part, I don't know what it was trying to do there. We are now in America, and especially the ending pisses me off, because we did all of these things to live life, and then we really just, I don't want to spoil it, but we really just like, that didn't matter. And it annoys me. So I haven't decided yet if I want to keep the trilogy or not. It feels stupid to just keep the first half, because that is the enjoyable part, and then getting rid of these because I didn't enjoy them all and they would take space. But like, if it ever adds more to the series, would I even bother rereading through all of them? I can't decide actually, but I just overall don't know what to do with it yet, because like a part of me has enjoyed it and a part of me like them, but the second part was just not good for me. Now we are at the last series for this video. The last episode we have for this, we had so many manga series, and for this one we don't have a single manga series. We have one webtoon / manhwa. This is Shako, which is 7 Fates Shako with BTS. This is the BTS webtoon that they obviously release physically as well. I think the members made like 1 character each, and then we follow them, and there's like monsters coming out of portals. They make up this group. I'm trying to hold them somehow, and then they fight them. And I just felt like for a series to be made by BTS. We should have focused so much more on the characters and introduced them so much more. There was a lot of like fight scenes where you don't see what's happening, and there was not a lot of substance in the story. Overall, didn't enjoy this story much. Will keep because BTS obviously, and I have not yet to start to unhaul any manga or graphic novels. We are not at that stage yet. We really can get rid of the OYA I kept for 10 years, so we shall see. It was not a good story. It had good art, but the story itself was not good. I wish I enjoyed it more recently, but it was just very like meh. I read it all like in one go because I needed a page booster, but it was a time, and they are pretty, but that's all. And that was all the series that I have read recently, but actually I have read enough to do another episode, because suddenly when you start binging, it goes very fast. You shall see me soon in a new video. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a purple heart emoji down below if you enjoy this for BTS, and you shall see me soon. Bye!